Big hugs, everyone, and welcome to Pass the Mic. Today I have an amazing woman that's joining me, Debra Updike. That's right, Updike. I know, you got questions. I got questions. We all got questions. Debra, come on in.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. It's beautiful.
We are beautiful, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And our song of the day. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Here we go.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. For those of you that know, that is, and for those of you that don't know, that's a Ricky Byers Beckwith song.
Yes.
Beautiful song, beautiful song. Mm-hmm. Use me. What a beautiful way to start the day. Use me to the universe. So Debra, everybody wants to know, is that a married name, Updike, or?
No, that's my family name.
Really?
Yeah, it's a Dutch name.
Ah.
Yeah.
So now, were you born?
I was born in upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
In Ithaca.
Okay. Oh, that's so cold. It's
so cold. I got out of there as fast as I possibly could.
Did you go to school in New York?
I did. I finished college at, I went to Cornell for a while, and I finished at Geneseo State University. And then I told my mom I would stay in New York for as long as till I finished college, and I did. And then I left. Florida, here I came. That was it.
So, Debra has an amazing energy and essence in working with the body. Her therapy is just beyond her being able to touch the body. I believe she stimulates the consciousness as well. How did you get involved?
I was in the restaurant business for a long time, and I was a sailboat captain. And it was
a sailboat captain.
It was, yeah.
Now you just can't sail through that.
Yeah, no. I lived in the Keys. I sailed all over the Caribbean, through the Bahamas. And my eyesight started to not fail, but it wasn't as good as it should be. And
I guess you do need to know where you're going.
You do need to know where you're going. So I kind of took a little hiatus from that and got back in the restaurant business, and very soon realized I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I already did that. So one of my clients at the restaurant talked me into going up to this massage school. And 6 months later, I was working right back at the place where he worked.
Wow.
So it went very quickly.
You know, you never know who you meet, or you know what the path is for them. So your first client.
Well, I think my first client was this is going to be funny. He was a proctologist who had Parkinson's disease.
Oh my!
And his wife was a dancer. She was a jazz, jazz dancer. And they were retired in Key West, and she just believed in bodywork, and she believed that holistic ways of dealing with him would be better, even though he was a Western medical guy. And so he was my first client.
How beautiful
it was,
that?
yeah.
How beautiful
and
is
we
that?
helped him a lot.
I know you did.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to see the marriage coming together of science, medicine, where, and I mean, coming together in the sense that there are a lot of scientists and Western medicine people now that are looking for alternative.
Yeah.
And therapy is one.
Yeah. Well, Amit Goswami calls it scientific materialism, that we've all been brainwashed into this idea that, not that science is God, but that science has all the answers, and there's no more mystery. And so why bother studying the mystery if there isn't one? And we all know there is mystery.
Of course. I was like, uh-oh.
Yes. So it has been a bit of a brainwashing, and I think we are finally at a place in the world where we're coming out of that.
Yes.
But it was necessary for whatever time to get done whatever had to get done.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I agree. I think I was just sharing with someone recently that Emmett Fox said that where the human consciousness is right now, we're adolescents.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
When I turned 13, I drove my mother crazy.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the energy, definitely.
Yeah. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of new discoveries. And so even with therapy, I'm sure you've seen it change quite a bit from when you initially started. Or has it?
Well, there was still a holdover, I think, a lot from the 70s when I started. So there were some old-time therapists who studied with the likes of Ida Rolf, with direct Milton Traeger, different people who were really the groundbreakers. And then when all those people kind of passed away and their work became diluted for whatever reason.
Right. People get a hold of it, they take shortcuts to do it their way.
Yeah. And then it just became, I think, during the Clinton administration, there was a lot of prosperity.
Okay.
And so people used spa treatments. Like at the time I was working at a resort property, and 100% of our clients were not just corporate people, but at that time corporations were like holding corporate retreats and allowing their employees to bring their family members for a whole week. So there was a lot of prosperity at that time, and that's when I got into the business. And it was fairly superficial at that point, I can say, honestly. Yeah.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah,
just a scotch.
little bit. But you know what? It was good training, and I worked on hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people.
I bet you did.
Yes.
I bet you did. In a beautiful resort. What resort was this?
This was at the Marriott Casa Marina in Key West, and I worked outside, underneath the palm trees, on the beach. Yeah, my first job.
Tough. Now, how long were you in Key West?
I lived in Key West for about 17 years.
That's such a beautiful place.
Yeah, it is. And, remarkably, the time I was there, we never had a serious storm.
Wow.
The whole time.
So you got out.
Yeah, apparently. I got out just in the nick of time. Yeah.
Now, you worked in at a resort, so at some point you decided.
Yeah, I met my husband maybe 5 years before that, before I was even doing body work. And he would come into town and visit some mutual friend of ours that he knew from Santa Barbara. Oh. They had moved to Key West and they had a guest house. So he would come in the off season and stay in the guest house, and we got to know each other. And at some point, we just decided this was it. I came out to California, had a little visit, and I said, I think I should move out here. And he said, okay. And that was it. So and it worked out because when I was in the restaurant business, I had been working in a fine dining restaurant where we served almost all the Central Coast wines, so I was very familiar with all of them. And
that's
when I
important.
That's
very important.
Yeah, and when I came out here, I got a job immediately at Gainey Vineyard because I already knew the wines.
Wow.
So so I was living up in Lompoc at the time. We had a house up there.
That's a beautiful area.
Yeah,
beautiful area.
Flowers everywhere. Yeah.
So, Debra, what do you think about community and where we are with community right now?
Well, I think that my generation of people is finally having a chance to be in community in their retirement phase of their lives.
Okay.
So some people are retiring and taking up more public service. Like, that's something that they always wanted to do, but their professional life prevented them from doing it.
Right.
And some people are getting more into volunteer work. And I just notice in my yoga classes in particular that I do have a base clientele of, retired people who want to be in community.
How beautiful.
And not just in community, but they want to be in community around a theme of consciousness and peace and taking care of their bodies.
That's really very powerful because I think people are starting to understand, and not only that, believe that we don't have to deteriorate to something feeble and where we can't move, we can't get around.
Right.
So that's really important. So what type of yoga do you do?
So I was trained by Yogi AMRIT Desai. He's started the first real yoga program in the country called Kripalu in Massachusetts.
Oh.
And then he moved to Florida, and he has a private ashram down there, and I studied about 500 hours for about 2 years. I went for 20 days each year, 2 different 10-day retreats each time. So I've been probably 5 times 10-day retreats.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful program. I don't recommend it for everyone because it's definitely guru based. So if you want to have a guru, if you feel that that's what you need and it's time for that, then that's fine. There's lots and lots of ways to study yoga. So.
There are. I used to love Bikram yoga. Yogurt.
Yeah.
Yogurt. Listen to me. I must be hungry. And I love the heat.
Oh, you like the hot?
I do. I like the heat because it takes my mind off of the movement that I wasn't doing so well anyway.
Yeah. Well,
but he would bring his little 5-year-old daughter in and go, look, she do. Why you no do? Because she's 5.
Right.
But it was amazing. And I was younger and I was doing a lot of partying. And so it helped me keep up.
Right. Oh, it's great for detoxification. That's why younger people love it.
Yeah.
They love that feeling of detox.
Yeah, it gets it out and you're like, I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
So now, when did you make the decision to have your own practice?
Well, it was a bit of a struggle. When I first moved to California, there was no certification for massage therapists. So each community got to set whatever law they wanted to set.
Oh my, that's interesting.
And some of them were way more restrictive than others. So I practiced pretty freely up in Santa Barbara County.
Okay.
And then when we moved here to Camarillo, it was very, very restrictive. So I kind of operated through acupuncturists, other professionals. They kind of let me slide underneath the radar at that point. And then it just got, I really took it on as like a mission. And so at the same time, the state was considering state certification. And so I got behind that big time, and I didn't let up. I went to City Hall, and I bugged the assistant city attorney until he finally just said, okay, all right.
Deborah, get out of my office.
Yes.
Whatever you want.
We'll remove the moratorium and we'll instill the new law, and you can practice on your own. And I said, okay.
So what was the cap that they had? Did you have to be under someone else?
No, it was all about, the way they were restricting it was like more about the facility. So you had to have separate showers for men and women. You had to have separate locker rooms for men and women, and separate dressing areas for men and women. And it just got to the point where just taking care of the real estate, you could never make a living. There was no way. I mean, it was impossible.
You couldn't go to the movies. You couldn't have any popcorn.
Right, exactly. So
how powerful. So we need to thank Deborah for stepping in and creating community at that time to say, listen, there's a way to do this. Right. I love that. Yeah. I really do, because, you see now in a lot of the little commercial business little corners. Right. You got a 7-Eleven, you got a yogurt land, and you got a massage.
Right. Right.
And that's due to people like you that said, hey, this can be done without all of that.
Right.
What is your fondest thing about physical therapy?
Honestly, it's just the zone. I mean, I go into a place, it's very difficult for me to describe, but I mean, like we do in religious science, and when you're a practitioner, you can see the person in a way that they can't necessarily see themselves.
Okay.
So I can see them healed and in light and flexible and integrated. And that's something I can't even always see for myself.
Well.
So, but it's, I get to see that for them, and when I'm seeing that for them, I do feel it for myself. So it's like it's just a break. Each time a person comes in for a massage, people go, oh my gosh, it's got to be so, demanding and physical. And I'm like, Not really. Of course I'm not doing 10 a day, but, I keep my yoga practice tuned up so that I'm physically able. And then beyond that, it just flows. It's a flow experience.
It's a flow experience. How beautiful is that?
Yep.
Now, that is something that's very interesting. And with anything, the body, our temple, is very important. Debra has her own garden.
I do.
Tell us some of the goodies that you have in there.
Well, I'm waiting on Brussels sprouts right now. So basically this big stalk comes up and then it makes these little balls on each side. It's lovely. And, all the summer plants are in. There's some squash and tomatoes and cucumbers and herbs. I had a really great crop of broccolini all winter. So that, I'm sort of still getting the hang of how to grow in California because I was an East Coast girl. So, everything is summer, summer, summer. But here, you can get started a lot earlier. You can do things in the wintertime, and you have to be really careful in the summer because it can blow dry like today. It can dry everything right out.
Really?
So you have to sort of really be attuned to that we're living in a desert, basically.
Yes.
It is.
Well, once again, mindfulness.
Yes.
And aware of what's going on. Not to mention, I'm sure the little critters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who do you have that visits?
Well, I was gardening, and I still am at the Camarillo Baptist Church. Has a huge community garden that I belong to.
I love those.
Yeah.
My first real community garden that I saw I was in Seattle. And I was like, oh my God, if there was a little patch of land, they would throw up a garden. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, and we're looking for more people too because we have beautiful beds ready to go. But it's all fenced in, so we really just have, the rodents and things. But at my house at Camarillo Springs, we have deer and we have coyotes and we have mountain lions. And
you guys still have mountain lions?
I think we have a mating pair out in the mountains behind us now. And, we have...
Somebody told me if you shake your keys at them, it makes them run.
Oh, maybe.
Actually, it was what do you call them? I'm going to come back to that thought.
Okay.
But if you shake your keys, it makes them run.
Yeah. So, so I have to primarily keep the deer out. So I have big hoops over the garden and then netting over that. And this is my first year. Actually, we built these beautiful beds in the backyard, and this is the first year that we're trying it out because if it's just going to be too hard with all the critters, then it's going to be too hard. Yeah. I'll just put some rose bushes or something in there, and that'll be that. But we'll give it a try. It's looking pretty good so far.
I love it. I love it. And so with that, taking care of the body temple is really important in any and everything that you do. I see in Debra's office here, we're in her beautiful sanctuary. She has the Univera products.
I do have the Univera products.
So now do you prescribe? Well, you can't prescribe, but do you? Not yet, no. But I'm sure you share those with your clients.
I do. I make suggestions based on people's metabolic profiles. So, everybody's got a metabolic profile, whether you want it or not. And for me, it was all about my digestion. So I started with the aloe product, and that's pretty much my baseline product. I'm pretty healthy otherwise, so I haven't used too many of the other products.
Okay.
I would say that anybody with any kind of digestive problem, that the aloe product is a great place to start. And it's almost like you can't take enough of it at the beginning because it's so soothing and it really helps all of the, if you want to get a hold of your inflammation in your body, or you want to take care of the extra weight that you have in your body, or any of those kinds of things that really go back to your digestion, I can't say enough about the aloe product. It gets down in there in our second brain, and it was the signature product for the company really at the very beginning.
Right.
So yeah. And
we'll have a link to Debra so that you can check it out. That aloe, and for me, it tastes good.
It tastes delicious. Yeah.
I will. If it doesn't taste good, I'll still do it if it's good for your body. But a lot of people won't. Right. But it really does taste good. So you maintain your body you're putting good things in, you go to yoga. because that keeps your energy and your body flexible. I would imagine you need to be pretty flexible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I go to the gym 2 or 3 times, 3 or 4 times a week. I just took a TRX training, which I think is probably one of the most valuable workout tools. I mean, you could have it in your house, potentially. And, you know, it just, the strap system uses your own body weight, and what's better than your own body weight? And I used to, you know, I've done NIA for many years.
Now, what is that?
NIA is a dance community up in Ventura, and it wasn't started there, but Kate Nash has the studio on Thompson Boulevard, and I highly recommend that as a workout.
Okay.
It's very integrated, and it was started by a woman called Debbie Rojas and her previous husband Carlos, and they put together a whole program of movement that is also very aerobic but is safe for the body and takes into account martial arts movements and breathing and so many other things. So yeah, I recommend that as well.
So I was introduced through Deborah through a sweet friend, Rita, and she is over the moon at the magic in her hands and in her spirit. When you're working on someone, can you signal out spots that you know that are trouble spots for them?
Apparently I can.
Wow.
But I'm not super conscious of it. It just sort of happens. And people always say, wow, how did you know? And, I mean, one of the things is there is a bit of structural analysis that has to take place. I mean, I'm looking at people as soon as they walk in the door. I'm looking at their posture and their gait. You know, I'm kind of unconsciously, just subconsciously taking a look at what's going on with them.
Sizing them
up. You know, and where they are emotionally, mentally, spiritually at the moment when they come in the office. The other thing is I studied, Tom Myers was a student of Ida Rolf's, and he started something called Anatomy Trains. Basically what it is it says that all of the fascial tissue in the body is connected through these trains, that there are stations at certain bony projections of the body, and there are transfer points, say on the scapula, where the energy goes all over the place, you know, like it's So I kind of have that in mind too. Like when I feel that the fascia is constricted in one place, you know that if there's tightness in one place, there's looseness in another. Like there's always this accommodation up by the body. Okay. There's never just one thing. It's if you've got pain in one area, then you've got numbness in another area.
Okay.
Or something like that. You can kind of look at it like that. And the tricky part is that where you have the pain may not be where the dysfunction is.
That's what blew me away. I don't know, I was listening to some show and they were talking about that a lot of times people will say they have back pain, but it doesn't always necessarily stem from the back.
No, it's generally from stronger muscles in the front of the body and the psoas, the hip flexors and things like that. Because the back muscles, you create pain by putting too much pressure on a muscle that's trying to do work that it's not designed to do. So you have to bring the energy back into the tissue, into the soft tissue that's designed to do that. It's designed to keep us upright and designed to keep the back in a good condition and in the right position and move energy up and down the spine and through into the legs. You know, with a lot of what you see in modern culture is because of people are so sedentary, they have a dysfunction right across the belly.
Okay.
So they have weakness in the legs, they have weakness in the abdomen, and this really affects so many metabolic processes in the body, but it also affects how you feel about yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, you're down there in that root chakra, second chakra area, and that's all about how you feel about yourself. Okay. So you want to be strong in that place. You know, you want to be able to be. It's not just about being strong, it's about feeling integrated.
Feeling integrated. Yeah. You've mentioned energy, and energy is one of the words now that's kind of like an N word. When you started in therapy, was energy focused on it all then?
I actually started out in between the time when I finished school. At the time, you took an exam and then you had to wait. It wasn't digital. So there was this
instant.
There was this horrible waiting period. And so during that time, I took some Reiki training. I was a member of the Unity Church at that time in Key West, and they had a really nice Reiki program, lovely Reiki program. And at that point, that was the beginning of my energy work. Before I even started doing massage.
Really?
Yeah.
The energy is amazing to feel it moving in your body. I've had people do energy work on me, and at first it was like, that's kind of woo-woo. Yeah. Sure, yeah, right. And then not being able to explain it. And I remember my mom came to visit me, and her knees were giving her some challenge. And one of my sweet friends was like, well, she said, Moms, let me do some energy work on you. I don't know about none of that stuff. I don't care about that. But her knee started hurting so badly that she said, well, what do you say? What you say you gonna do? So she took her in the room and she did some work on her. And it was so funny because my mother didn't want to say it worked. She said, I don't know what happened, but I do feel better.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times people are at the end of their rope, and then they will do.
They'll try anything. Then it's like, okay, let's give it a whirl.
Yep.
Let's give it a whirl.
Yep.
So we'll have a link for Debra, so you can. You have your webpage.
I don't have a webpage. I have a email.
Email. So we'll have her email below along with telephone number for your office.
Yeah.
Where you can contact her, come and make an appointment to take care of your body, not only just externally, but unplugging from the world also unplugs your mind. And it's an internal thing as well. What would you say to people is one of the easiest things that they can do to take care of their body?
I would say start with the breath. It's the thing we always say, and when you have upward moving energy in the body, you're inhaling. When you're falling forward or doing forward folds, you're exhaling. You can think about it as alternate nostril breathing. You can bring energy in through one nostril and out through the other. It's just sort of this way of, we have duality in our lives, there's no doubt about it, but we could pay attention to it by using our breath, and then pretty soon even the duality just melts away. It's like you put your attention on the very thing that seems like the problem, and then all of a sudden you realize that the body is ready. It's been waiting for you to pay attention.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yep.
Waiting for you to pay attention.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for joining us today on Pass the Mic. Let's sing our closing song now.
Okay, what's it going to be?
Use me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Thank you so much for joining us on Pass the Mic. Go to the link below. I'll see you next Wednesday. And remember, we are one. We hold a vision. We're creating our here and now. Just you and me. Just you and me. Pass the mic.